So-
Yeah. Oh, here we go. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started.
Betsy's going on.
Yep, I can see that. We'll see how it all turns out. All right. So, for anybody who might be watching this in the future as a recording, just want to point a couple things out real quick and then we'll hop into what we're doing. Let's get this to come up on my screen. Hopefully, there we go. We have a Facebook group that coincides with this meetup and it has the same name. I want to be really rich and I do not apologize for it. You can go into your own Facebook account and type that in. I want to be really rich and I do not apologize for it. And you can find us that way. Or you can find us going to facebook.com/groups/ I want to be really rich, one word. And if you come join us, you will see that if we have any special announcements or anything for the group, we'll post them here. Also, you will get the recordings of these meetups. So let's say, for instance, you're here today and you really like it and you want to review it again, typically 24 to 48 hours and sometimes sooner. But typically within that time frame, you will find it posted into the meetup, or excuse me, into the Facebook group. So you can repeat it. Or let's say we're going over material and you're here with us Monday, Tuesday, you can't make Wednesday, but you're here with us Thursday, Friday. You can use it as a way to get caught up. Okay, next thing I'd like to go ahead and point out is actually what we are going through right now. We are going through a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And let's see, I'm going to take one quick look, see who's with us. Because if it's everybody that I already know, okay, I already know everybody here. So I'm not going to go through a big introduction of the book. We're just going to jump into the Science of Getting Rich where we left off yesterday. And we are now on efficient action. All right. You must use your thought as directed in previous chapters and begin to do what you can do where you are, and you must do all that you can do where you are. You can advance only by being larger than your present place, and no man is larger than his present place who leaves undone any of the work pertaining to that place. The world is advanced only by those who more than fill their present places. If no man or woman quite filled his or her present place, you can see that there must be a going backward in everything. Those who do not quite fill their present places are dead weight upon society, government, commerce, and industry. They must be carried along by others at a great expense. The progress of the world is retarded only by those who do not fill the places they're holding. They belong to a former age and a lower stage or plane of life, and their tendency is toward degeneration. No society could advance if every man or woman was smaller than his or her place. Social evolution is guided by the law of physical and mental evolution. In the animal world, evolution is caused by excess of life. While an organism has more life than can be expressed in the function of its own plane, it develops the organs of a higher plane and a new species is originated. There never would have been new species had there not been organisms which more than filled their places. The law is exactly the same for you. Your getting rich depends upon your applying this principle to your own affairs. Every day is either a successful day or a day of failure, and it is the successful days which will get you what you want. If every day is a failure, you can never get rich. While if every day is a success, you cannot fail to get rich. If there's something that may be done today and you do not do it, you have failed insofar as that thing is concerned, and the consequences may be more disastrous than you imagine. You cannot foresee the results of even the most trivial act. You do not know the workings of all the forces that have been set moving in your behalf. Much may be depending on you doing some simple act. It may be the very thing which is to open the door of opportunity to very great possibilities. You can never know all the combinations which supreme intelligence is making for you in the world of things and of human affairs. Your neglect or failure to do some small thing may cause a long delay in getting what you want. Okay. So, a couple things I want to point out. That is why you want to be connected with God and Source and be in the right vibration, because you'll receive the inspiration, revelation, intuition you need to actually take the correct action that you should take at the time. Okay. So, number one, you'll know what to do. And then number two, when you know what to do, even if what you're being asked to do by God in the universe is uncomfortable, and probably uncomfortable because you're not used to it, and because you got a program in your subconscious mind that's in opposition to it, you still need to do what God in the universe are actually inspiring you to do. Or you might delay receiving what you want or may not get it. Now, thank goodness there's also a law, a law of forgiveness, where the price has been paid and you can be forgiven for every mistake or sin you've ever committed. So you would ask God for forgiveness and also ask God and the universe to help you forgive yourself, okay, to get yourself back on track. So don't want you to totally freak out, but you can't take this the way you can't just decide what to do and not to do. If God and the universe inspire you to do something, do it. Don't fight with them, even if it's uncomfortable. If you know that you're being inspired to do something, but you're uncomfortable doing it because it's unfamiliar, or because you've tried and failed before, or because it doesn't make sense to you, listen to what God in the universe has to say. They will support you. Do every day all that can be done that day. There is, however, a limitation or qualification of the above that you must take into account. You are not to overwork, nor to rush blindly into your business in an effort to do the greatest possible number of things in the shortest possible time. You're not to try to do tomorrow's work today, nor to do a week's work in a day. It is really not the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. Every act is, in itself, either a success or a failure. Every act is, in itself, either effective or inefficient. Every inefficient act is a failure. And if you spend your time in doing inefficient acts, your whole life will be a failure. And what we essentially mean by an inefficient act is you're not doing them according to the universal laws. The more things you do, not according to the universal laws, but against you or against them, the worse for you if all your acts are inefficient ones. On the other hand, every efficient act is a success in itself. You are following and obeying universal law, and you're getting help from God in the universe. And if every act of your life is one in which you're following the laws of the universe and getting help from God in the universe, your whole life must be a success. Let me get a quick sip of water here. Throat's getting a little dry. The cause of failure is doing too many things without God in the universe's help in an inefficient manner, and not doing enough things in an efficient manner with God in the universe's help and guidance. You will see that it is a self-evident proposition that if you do not do any inefficient acts, and if you do a sufficient number of efficient acts, you will become rich. If now it is possible for you to make each act an efficient one, you see again the getting of rich is reduced to an exact science like mathematics. So if now you're coming to the conclusion, if now you're coming to the awareness, it is possible for you to make each act an efficient one because you're getting help from God in the universe. You see again, the getting of riches is reduced to an exact science, like mathematics. The matter turns then on the question as to whether you can make each separate act a success in itself. And this you can certainly do. You can make each act a success because all power is working with you, God in the universe, and all power, God in the universe, cannot fail. Power is at your service. And to make each act efficient, you have only to put power into it. Every action is either strong or weak. And when everyone is strong, you're acting in a certain way, which will make you rich. Every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you're doing it and putting the whole power of your faith and purpose into it. It is at this point that the people who fail separate mental power from personal action. They use the power of mind in one place and at one time. And then, so they start off on the right track, possibly, and then they act in another place and at another time. So their acts are not successful in themselves because they're not receiving the help you need from God in the universe. Too many of them are inefficient. But if all power goes into every act, no matter how commonplace, see, God and the universe are willing to help you with anything and everything. Okay? They want you to be in alignment and in tune with them. Every act will be a success in itself. And as in the nature of things, every success opens the way to other successes. Your progress toward what you want and the progress of what you want toward you will become increasingly rapid. Remember that successful action is cumulative in its results. They stack upon each other. Cumulative. There you go. My tongue got twisted. Cumulative in its results. Since the desire for more life is inherent in all things, when a man begins to move toward larger life, more things attach themselves to him, and the influence of his desire is multiplied. Do every day all that you can do that day, and do each act in an efficient manner. In saying that you must hold your vision while you're doing each act, however trivial or commonplace, I do not mean to say that it is necessary at all times to see the vision distinctly in its smallest details. It should be the work of your leisure hours to use your imagination on the details of your vision and to contemplate them until they are firmly fixed upon memory. If you wish speedy results, spend practically all your spare time in this practice. By continuous, what kind of contemplation? By continuous contemplation, you'll get the picture of what you want, even to the smallest details, so firmly fixed upon your mind and so completely transferred to the mind of formless substance that in your working hours, you need only to mentally refer to the picture to stimulate your faith and purpose and cause your best effort to be put forth. Contemplate your picture in your leisure hours until your consciousness is so full of it that you can grasp it instantly. You will become so enthused with its bright promises that the mere thought of it will call forth the strongest energies of your whole being. Let us again repeat our syllabus, and by slightly changing the closing statements, bring it to the point we have now reached. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and do, with faith and purpose, all that can be done each day, doing each separate thing in an efficient manner with the help of God in the universe. Getting into the right business. Next chapter. Success in any particular business depends, for one thing upon your possessing in a well-developed state the faculties required in that business. Let me repeat that. Success in any particular business depends, for one thing, upon your possessing in a well-developed state the faculties required in that business. Without good musical faculty, no one can succeed as a teacher of music. Without well-developed mechanical faculties, no one can achieve great success in any of the mechanical trades. Without tact and the commercial faculties, no one can succeed in mercantile pursuits. But to possess in a well-developed state the faculties required in your particular vocation does not ensure getting rich. There are musicians who have remarkable talent and who yet remain poor. There are blacksmiths, carpenters, and so on who have excellent mechanical ability, but who do not get rich. And there are merchants with good faculties for dealing with men who nevertheless fail. The different faculties are tools. It is essential to have good tools, but it is also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. One man can take a sharp saw, a square, a good plane, and so on, and build a handsome article of furniture. Another man can take the same tools and set to work to duplicate the article, but his production will be a botch. He does not know how to use good tools in a successful way. The various faculties of your mind are the tools which you must do the work, which is to make you rich. Let me repeat that. The various faculties of your mind are the tools with which you must do the work, which is to make you rich. It will be easier for you to succeed if you get into a business for which you are well equipped with mental tools. Generally speaking, you will do best in that business which will use your strongest faculties, the one for which you are naturally best fitted. But there are limitations to this statement also. No man or woman should regard his or her vocation as being irrevocably fixed by the tendencies with which he or she was born. You can get rich in any business, for if you have not the right talent, you can develop that talent. It merely means you will have to make your tools as you go along, instead of confining yourself to the use of those which you were born. It will be easier for you to succeed in a vocation for which you already have the talents in a well-developed state. But you can succeed in any vocation, for you can develop any rudimentary talent, and there is no talent of which you have not at least the rudiment. You will get rich most easily, in the point of fact, if you do that for which you're best fitted. But you will get rich most satisfactorily if you do that which you want to do. Doing what you want to do is life, and there's no real satisfaction in living if we're compelled to be forever doing something which we don't like to do and can never do that which we want to do. And it is certain that you can do what you want to do. How do we know it's certain? The desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which can do it. Desire is manifestation of power. Desire to play music is the power which can play music, seeking expression and development. The desire to invent mechanical devices is the mechanical talent seeking expression and development. There is no power, either developed or undeveloped, to do a thing, where there is no power, either developed or undeveloped, to do a thing, there's never any desire to do that thing. See, let's repeat that. Where there is no power, either developed or undeveloped, to do a thing, there's never any desire to do that thing. Okay. So if you desire to do something, the power to do it has to exist. And where there is a strong desire to do a thing, it is certain proof that the power to do it is strong and only requires to be developed and applied in the right way. All things being equal, it is best to select the business for which you have the best developed talent. But if you have a strong desire to engage in a particular line of work, you should select that work as the ultimate end at which you aim. You can do what you want to do, and it is your right and privilege to follow the business or avocation which will be most congenial and pleasant. You are not obliged to do what you do not like to do and should not do it except as means of bringing you to the doing of the thing you want to do. If there are past mistakes whose consequences have placed you in an undesirable business or environment, you may be obliged for some time to do what you do not like to do, but you can make the doing of it pleasant by knowing that it is making it possible for you to come to the doing of what you want to do. If you feel that you're not in the right vocation, do not act too hastily trying to get into another one. The best way, generally, to change business or environment is by growth. Do not be afraid to make a sudden or radical change if the opportunity is presented and if you feel, after careful consideration, that it is the right opportunity. Let me repeat that. Do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change if the opportunity is presented and if you feel, after careful consideration, that it is the right opportunity. But never take sudden or radical action when you're in doubt as to the wisdom of doing so. There's never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. When you get out of the competitive mind, you will understand that you never need to act hastily. No one else is going to beat you to the thing you want to do. There is enough for all. If one space is taken, another and a better one will be opened up for you a little farther on. There is plenty of time. When you're in doubt, wait. Fall back on the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith and purpose. And by all means, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. A day or two spent in contemplating the vision of what you want and in earnest thanksgiving that you are getting it will bring your mind into such close relationship with the Supreme that you will make no mistake when you do act. There is a mind which knows all there is to know, and you can come into close unity with this mind by faith and the purpose to advance in life if you have deep gratitude. Mistakes come from acting hastily and from acting in fear or doubt or in forgetfulness of the right motive, which is more life to all and less to none. Let me repeat that. Mistakes come from acting hastily or from acting in fear or doubt or in forgetfulness of the right motive, which is more life to all and less to none. As you go on in the certain way, opportunities will come to you in increasing number, and you will need to be very steady in your faith and purpose, and to keep in close touch with all mind by reverent gratitude. Do all that you can do in a perfect manner every day. Get God and the universe's help. But do it without haste, worry, or fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. Remember that in the moment you begin to hurry, you cease to be a creator and become a competitor, and you drop back on the old plane again. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, call a halt. Fix your attention on the mental image of the thing you want and begin to give thanks that you are getting it. The exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith and renew your purpose. Let me repeat all this again. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, call a halt. Fix your attention on the mental image of what you want and begin to give thanks that you are getting it. End results. Focus on what you really want as an end result. The exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith and renew your purpose. Okay, impression of increase is where we're going to go ahead and pick up tomorrow. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a handful of people here today. Glad to have you with us. Any questions or comments from you guys at this time? There are a few of you, so they're definitely not going to be stepping on any toes. There's time for all of you.
I do like those two words, the gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the fact that thanks. The gratitude makes me feel that it cleans myself. I am grateful for what happens. And what we heard the other day, we cannot expect that other people do whatever we want. We are grateful if somebody helps along, but then we cannot expect them to do it for us. So putting away those two dependence thing, one a dependence with depending on somebody to do for us. So putting away that and then being grateful for if somebody does something for that, or even the fact that God has given us a power to use our brain. That's very grateful. It is just something that liberates to do the things that we wanted to do. And I'm really in awe for those suggestions.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Pia. Anybody else?
I appreciate the part about it's once you get into the mode of competing, take a halt upon yourself. And it's like stepping backwards and realizing it's not about competition, it's about being grateful for where you're at, that you'll get more done by not competing and not rushing, and being grateful and visualizing the end result of what you want, and being grateful for that, for what you want, and trusting and believing in the power of God and the universe to bring that to you. And you know, that segment right there really hit a lot of real key segments are very powerful in this book. That hit super home with me because I'm just so grateful about this book.
It's awesome.
And you reading it, it's just really helping me out a lot. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Well, if nobody has anything at this point, I will go ahead and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm here, but also I'm
I
not
know.
here to screen.
Oh, I know. And you're coughing, boy. I feel sorry for you when you cough.
That's just I've been in a coaching thing for today, and I've been
Yeah.
so it's just been a lot of talking today. My throat's just dry.
It is,
Yeah,
but
no
you're
sick.
okay.
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's nothing going. I don't get sick, so it doesn't matter.
That's good. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
I programmed myself years ago, and so I don't.
I like that program.
Yep.
I'm going to start doing that program too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, girls.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. It's nice to see everybody on here.
All right.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Pia.
See you guys tomorrow.
Bye, Kevin.
I have
Bye-bye.
I have a question, Kevin.
Oh, you almost
you
missed
go.
it. Okay, come
I
on.
know, I know I couldn't formulate it fast enough, and I might still not. When it talks about being in a hurry,
hmm
it puts you in a competitive state. But is it always, if you're in a hurry, that it puts you in a competitive state, or are you just in a hurry because you want what you want?
So, okay. There's a frame of mind that we're in of trust and faith versus a frame of mind that we're in when we're trying to do all that we can do, hoping that our efforts are going to be the thing that makes the big difference.
Mhm.
And if God asks us to do something, like we put it out there, we get ourselves in that position where we've meditated, we feel good about it. We've now impressed on formless substance, and God comes back with an answer to us. More, sometimes it'll come out and feel like words, but it's predominantly going to be thoughts and feelings. All right. And we will interpret that to mean something. When we get that inspiration, revelation, intuition from God, we need to act immediately upon whatever God asks us to do. Okay. And God may say, get busy, go do this. So we need to be working. But what some people are trying to do to bring more good into their life is they're saying, okay, I'm working my butt off, but I'm going to add more hours. Because if I work 10 hours instead of 8 hours, I'll succeed, more likely to succeed. If I work 12 instead of 8, I'll be even more likely. And all you're going to go do is burn yourself out. Or here's a good example of what it is like, the feeling of what it is like to be working in a manner that disconnects you from God. So competitive, not that you're competing with a specific person, but you become competitive as you're trying to be in control. Have you seen the movie? Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on.
I probably have not.
No, Home Alone. Have you seen Home Alone?
Oh, yeah, I have seen that one.
Okay, and you've probably seen more of them because there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
But here's the theme of Home Alone. Part of it, not the whole theme, but here's what ends up happening. And I think this has happened to every one of us at some time in our life. You got something really important that you want to go do, right? And you plan for it. And for some reason, you hit you set the alarm, but then the power goes off overnight and you don't know that the alarm got changed. Therefore, you don't get up on time. But what happens is you wake up and you're supposed to be somewhere and you gave yourself an hour or two to get there when you set your alarm. But because the alarm didn't go off on time, you wake up and you realize you only got 20 minutes to get there instead of 2 hours.
Mhm.
So what do you try and do? You're trying to do 2 hours worth of stuff in 20 minutes and look at the disaster it turned out for that family, right? Because in their case, they couldn't slow down. They didn't have the option to slow down. Well, they did, they could, but for the most part, they didn't because they had already, had airline tickets booked. They have a hotel booked. They've got an itinerary and everything else. But what a lot of us do is we live our life that way, except that we actually decide to run around like chickens with our heads cut off, and we don't have to. Our alarm works just fine. Our day can end when it needs to end. But instead, we're like, I'm going to make stuff happen. And so when you try and do it your way, you end up with the results that family did. You lose your kid, right? You lose your kid, you lose your mind, you lose your peace. Your vacation that was supposed to be a blast turns out to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's because of how you're going about it. Versus, what would have been the smartest thing for that family to do once they realized that had happened? If they all understood the laws, they should have stopped for about 1 to 2 minutes, brought everybody together and said, hey, look, let's chill out for a minute. God knew this happened. We don't know why it happened. It's all going to work out. Let's say a quick little prayer. Thank God that we're still going on this trip, and ask God to clear the way so we make it on time. And then let's keep moving at a quick enough pace. Let's not sit around and do nothing, but let's move at a pace that we have a chance of getting there. and then let God clear the freeway and everything else. Now, if they'd have had that mindset, they wouldn't have lost Kevin, their son.
Yeah.
They would have made it to the airport on time or wherever they would, and all the rest of it would have smoothed out.
I get it.
But if you're trying to just run around and accomplish as much as you possibly can to try and bring your good to you, you're not letting God do enough of the work. God's going to do 99% of the work, God in the universe. But your 1% is actually the most important because of your free agency. God's not going to force good upon you, nor is it going to allow, neither good nor evil is going to be forced upon you. What's going to happen is you're going to get that reflection back of your vibration. Your vibration is a result of what you're thinking about. Put your faith and trust in God in the universe, and it's easier to relax. And then that doesn't mean, again, you do nothing. It might mean you do nothing for a little while. But what that means is then you use that free time to strengthen your vision. You don't use that free time needlessly and mindlessly. Use the free time to move. Use it to strengthen your faith. Use it to learn. Yes, Pia?
No, I was talking to my husband. He's just
Oh,
calling.
okay. Okay.
I have an observation that bothers me.
Yeah.
He repeats over and over again to be perfect in what we are doing.
And that's why I said 100 times as we went through, I repeated what perfect means. We're not perfect, right? You and I are not. Are you perfect? I know I'm not.
Well, I'm not.
So if we're imperfect, how can we do everything perfectly?
Yeah.
We need a partner who is perfect,
God.
because their perfection cancels out our imperfections. So doing it in a perfect way is actually getting in alignment and in tune so that you're guided and directed by God in the universe. Now you're doing it perfectly. Now that doesn't mean everything you do is perfect, but if you're off track, God and the universe will make sure it still works out. But if we're off track and we're all on our own, we're just off track.
Okay, so be perfect in conjunction with God's guidance then.
Yeah, allow them to help you a lot more than most of us do.
Okay, thank you for explaining.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Again, goodbye.
Rika, did that help?
Yes. Yes, so to say it back to you a different way.
Uh-huh.
So say I want to accomplish something really badly and I want to do it today.
Why? Okay, then it comes down to, why do you want it really badly? Why do you can't just give me a general. God's a very specific in asking us to be specific, because when we throw out generalities. So tell me something that you want real badly and it has to happen today.
Well, I was actually making that up.
I know, and you do that a lot, Rika.
No, I really
And
was.
so you do that.
Okay, let's do this. I put on my calendar on the 31st of the month, I want to bring about $2,000.
Okay.
Okay, I've got now
So first of all,
28 days.
yeah, I don't care how many days you got. You could have 30 seconds left and you could do it. So that's not the point. Why do you want the $2,000?
It's my goal.
Yeah, that's not useful enough. That's why you don't do it. Your purpose for the $2,000 is not clear. God doesn't work in the sense of just handing you money for the sake of reaching a goal.
For living.
I know, but you've got to decide how do you get to live for the 2,000, and then what you go imagine is living the life, and then the 2,000 shows up to pay for life.
Well,
You're trying to go backward. You're trying to do it in reverse. Hey, give me 2,000, and then I can go do this. Give me 5,000, I can go do this. God is saying, decide what you want, and then he'll tell you how much money it takes. He's not going to tell you.
Okay.
He's going to bring it to you.
We had this meeting with our team leaders, and one of the things that he said was, put on the end, the last day of each month, how much you want to generate in your business.
And that is
Oh.
fine. And I'm not telling you that's wrong.
Uh-huh.
What I'm telling you is it doesn't mean anything. It's in it. Money is only useful if it has a purpose. It only has use if it's in circulation. It
Mhm.
only has use if it's invested into something that's growing. So money just for the sake of money, your subconscious, God, and the universe don't care about that. What they want though is you have to, if you set a money goal, there has to be something attached to it that your emotions will carry on. But a $2,000 is not going to do it. And here's what's been proven over and over and over again, at least so far in your life. You don't want to impress those people so bad enough that you'll just go do it to impress them. But that's predominantly why you want to do it. And the thing is God's like, you don't need to impress anybody else on the planet. You need to be happy with who you are. And you need, if you're going to compete with anyone, you compete with yourself. And if you want to try and impress anyone, impress me, and not impress me with what you can do. Impress me with your trust that you put into me and the universe so that we can help you. But what you're trying to do, that's why it's not working. And that is what most people get caught up in, is it's the lazy way out. The lazy way out is give me a certain dollar amount. And God is saying, you could be at dead broke zero today, and I can turn you into a millionaire tomorrow or before the night's over, if it was required and if it was needed and if it was believed. So they're not wrong in telling you to set a money goal, but that money goal has to be emotionally attachable to something for you that really is important. That's what Bob Proctor taught me and has taught so many other people, that just setting a goal for a dollar amount doesn't matter very much. It's not going to get you out there and build your faith. It's not going to get you to take the actions that you already know you should do in your direct sales company. Because of the vibration that you're in, you won't take the action necessary to produce the $2,000.
Okay, then when you read Think and Grow Rich, chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
he says to come up with a specific
I
amount
know,
of money that you want
Rika. Yeah,
to.
I'm not against what Napoleon Hill. You're not listening to me. And you got to get the underlying part behind it. You don't start when Napoleon Hill, or better yet, Andrew Carnegie, decided they wanted more money, they
Mhm.
had a purpose for it. So when they wrote the amount down, the amount meant something. The amount meant that they could live the life they wanted to live in the way they wanted to live at that point in time. And over time, it tended to grow because they progressed, and so did their incomes, and so did their businesses, and so did their empires.
Okay.
But writing down an amount of money is, I have not watched any human being get so excited about writing down an amount of money that they actually produced it because they wrote down an amount of money. They have to attach emotionally the money to lifestyle, the money to, or if not lifestyle, a purpose. Like, okay, the reason I want $10,000 is this is going to pay for this surgery or whatever it is. It's got to be attached. It can't just be, I want $2,000. Because if that was going to work, it would have worked for you already. What you're trying to do is come back at me and say, well, they keep saying that. And what I'm telling you is that's not the only thing they said. You're like taking the entire, if you were to take scripture and you take one verse out of scripture to mean everything that Jesus was saying, and it doesn't work that way. You have
Okay,
to know
that's
you have to know the behind the scenes, and the behind the scenes of Napoleon Hill and of Andrew Carnegie and of Bob Proctor and of all these other people is, it wasn't a dollar amount that got them excited. It was
okay.
what they could live. Jack Canfield, when he took a dollar bill and wrote it out as $100,000 bill and posted it on his ceiling, that is not what got him the $100,000. He said that's what he did to remind him of his goal. But the thing that he had to do that got him his goal is, he said, then it reminded me to meditate when I first woke up in the morning, and I'd spend 10, 15 minutes and I would go live $100 lifestyle. And if you watch the movie The Secret, they're showing pictures of going and doing things related to $100,000 lifestyle. That's what Jack Canfield was saying. But what you're taking is you take Jack Canfield said, write what you want. So he wrote 100,000, stuck it on the ceiling. That's it. And he got $100,000. You're missing everything else in between.
Okay. So doing this monthly thing, if I attach it to like cost of living, whatever, it's never going to grow unless my cost of living grows.
That would be, yeah. You have to have a
So I
purpose,
don't want to attach it to my cost of living because I want
well,
the money to grow,
no.
you
It,
know?
you do not, until you want a nicer car, you don't need any more money. Until you want a nicer house, you don't need any more money. Until you want better clothes, and I have no idea what you own. Okay,
So
so I'm
then,
not. You have no purpose for money. If look, all we need to do to physically live. Let's forget about science of getting rich. To live, to survive, we need water, food, shelter. Okay,
shelter.
we might need some clothes. We probably should live in a place that we can lock the door, and we probably need to be able to stay warm when it's super cold, or if we're in a crazy hot climate, we need to be able to cool off. But that is survival. That is not progressing. Science of Getting Rich says the reason to get rich is not to have money. It's so that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have what you want to have. And because we live in a world where the means of exchange is money, if we don't have money, we can't buy the stuff that helps us unfold. And your only focus right now is, it's not even your focus. You're the only thing you keep saying is the money. And then it's like, well, I don't want more stuff because then I'm afraid God won't provide it. See, now there you go backwards. I don't want a better lifestyle, because what if I want a better lifestyle, but I don't get the money to do it? And I would say, don't even worry about the money right now.
Mhm.
Use your imagination and live your life long enough and do it over and over again. And then the ideas of where the money will come from will be brought to you by God in the universe.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to scrap this.
Well, it's okay to write down a thing for $2,000. I just promise you that at the end of the month, based on what the track you've been on and where you're going, you're not changing your thinking. If you don't change your thinking, the $2,000 isn't going to show up anyway. So you're going to be disappointed, or you're going to say, well, I did my part. And no, you didn't. You just wrote down you want $2,000 because at the suggestion of someone else, they said that. They aren't wrong in their suggestion, but I guarantee if you have an upline, go to your upline. If you can talk to them, that would be wonderful. But go to your upline that makes $250,000, $500,000, $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, it wasn't that they were focused strictly on the money. They had a life they wanted to live. And that's what got them to work, so they would build a business that would bring them the money. And that's also what gave them inspiration, revelation, intuition from time to time, even if they were being a bit on the competitive, because they were very knowledgeable about what they want their life to be like. That's also why different people, and they even get judged in the MLM direct sales world, where there's going to be somebody like an Eric Worre who's going to come out, which I've seen Eric Worre and I love him, and I've been to some of his events. I even have a subscription, or did, to all of his training. And Eric Worre will kind of beat on somebody occasionally that earns $1 million a year and calls them, kind of lazy because they're not earning 3 or 4 million when they could. Well, guess what? The $1 million lifestyle was what those people wanted. They got it, and they've been keeping it, and they're happy with it because that lets them live the life they want to live.
Yeah. So what you want is not necessarily what I want. We all have our own desires.
Right. It rarely is.
Yeah.
We all need different amounts of money because we all want different stuff.
So there again, I think maybe telling people put a dollar amount is the only way they know how to try to push you, to motivate you to go after building your business.
For them it works because it's for some of them it works. Here's the ones I know for who it works. The ones that already have the money, they could put a dollar amount because it coincides with something they want.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have more experience at it too.
Doesn't matter. They had to want a lifestyle first, and then God and the universe helped them gain what they needed for the lifestyle. I've been involved in Amway and I sucked. I was involved with a company called Nouveau Riche and I made $400,000 in 8 months,
Okay.
working 10 hours a week on average. And then afterwards, I thought automatically I must be good at this MLM direct sales stuff because look what I did with the last company. Well, it wasn't the company, it wasn't MLM. My vision wasn't the same. It didn't work out so much. Then I went back to personal development and said, hang on a second, do what Bob and these guys taught you about how to think. Boom. And then my income went up again
Mhm.
because I had a purpose. But just writing down a dollar figure, like you said, well, that's because they got the experience. It doesn't matter. Multimillionaires in economies that crash lose their multi-millions, and they also lose their minds sometimes and they forget. Well, you got the experience. It doesn't matter. They're just as frozen as anybody else because they don't know how they got there. But when you learn the formula for this, and that's what the Science of Getting Rich is about, now you know how to get there. You never have to worry ever again. So you're not trying to hoard money. You're not trying to say, I don't want more because I'm afraid I wouldn't know how to pay for it. You're going, okay, what I want to learn to do is trust God and the universe and follow their guidance. When I can trust them and follow their guidance, I am always safe.
Yeah.
I'm always protected and I'm always provided for. And not just at the level of, I know I'm going to eat, I'm not going to be on the street, blah, blah, blah. But when we believe it for bigger things than just our survival. God doesn't want us to just survive. God wants us to thrive. He wants us to unfold and become what we can. He doesn't want us to cower and just hopefully get through life without any harm or any disappointment. God's like, go ahead and take the risk. And if you make a mistake, come back to me and let me help you clean up the mess. If you trust me, I'll do it. But get out there and trust me.
Okay. Thank
And
you,
I only
Kevin,
trust
for
Kevin.
clearing that. No, I know, but thank you
I'm on
for
my
clearing.
soapbox. I'm on my soapbox with you, but that's strictly because now I've known you for a few months and you always make up these outlandish what ifs. And so if you doing that as asking me questions, then you're already asking yourselves all those questions. And so you're creating your own defeatist. You're fulfilling your prophecy to yourself. So if you're going to be a prophet, at least make up a story that's profitable.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I do have an issue with
No,
is
yeah. Okay.
we're always told, think of an amount of money and make it really huge. It's really difficult for me to do that because I've not made $500,000 in a year. I wouldn't know how to think it into manifesting for me.
Yeah. So
So
Bob,
I attach these numbers, and these numbers, I look at them and they do nothing in my heart. They don't motivate me. They don't drive me. When I started reporting, I knew what I wanted in my life, and I ran like a crazy horse till I realized, Rika, you can't work any harder than you're working. There's not enough hours in the day. And I started losing the incentive.
yeah. 24 is all we all get. that's
Yeah.
that's the way that it works. And so yes, Rika, there's a you've got to be who you are and be happy with who you are, and you have to want what you want to be happy with what you want. And it doesn't matter, it's not a dollar figure, it's a lifestyle. Some of us could live a lifestyle at 50 or $60,000 or 40, depending on what part of the country we're in, or we could move somewhere else and be completely contented, because what we're doing to unfold maybe doesn't require a lot of money to do certain things, right? But other people, Elon Musk needs more money because of what he's bringing into the world. But we should not compare ourselves to Elon Musk. We should compare ourselves to what is in our heart to bring into the world. Some people's heart is to take care of a child. So or whatever it is, and that's just as important as being Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. That's the other problem we have with society, is we judge what is success and what's not success. Success is you unfolding into who you can become at the pace that you can do it and with God's help. And we are eternal, so there's no race, and there's actually really no age either. We can think, oh man, by now I should have. Okay, well, quit shitting all over yourself. All right? Don't
Yeah.
shit all over yourself. Instead of that, go, look, I'm an eternal being. I'm not only going to live here on earth, but when this time is done on earth, I'm going to continue to progress, get closer to God in the universe, and they're going to continue to teach me. So it doesn't matter if I get everything I want at this point, and I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else anymore. I'm not going to, there's no age by which, there's no calendar out there that says if you haven't hit it by this age at this dollar figure with this much success, you're screwed. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not. You need to forgive yourself. You need to ask God to forgive whatever you think he needs to forgive. If anything, you need to let go and forgive yourself. You need to quit comparing yourself to your upline, your downline, your sideline, all the other lines that are cross line. You just need to be the best Rika you can be. Decide what you want your life to be like, and then let God share with you how to get there.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you're amazing. Okay. I'm kind of tired of you letting yourself not believe that.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All of you are welcome. Anybody else want some Kevin soapbox?
No, I've had my share. That's why I shut up. I don't say too much.
Kevin's on a roll call.
No, I had that, you shoot the doves down. That was it. You let the doves out and then you shoot them down.
Yeah.
Ugh. That was a visual I'll never forget. So
Well, it worked.
it worked. It did.
Awesome.
Yeah, it sure did.
All right. Awesome. You guys.
Yes.
You have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, you too.
You
Thank
too.
you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks. See ya.